Welcome back. You're listening to Get Real, and I'm your host, Bob Gallagher. I'm joined in studio today by my co-host, Aaron Thomason with Ross Mortgage.
Hello.
How you doing, Aaron?
Good. How are you?
Very good, thanks. And we have a special guest with us here today, Justin Jarboe, right? Did I get that right? Jarboe?
Yeah, close enough, Jarboe.
Jarboe.
Yeah.
With Keller Williams, the Jarboe Group real estate team. Welcome to the show, Justin.
Thank you for having me.
So we asked you in today so you could kind of give us an update on what's going on in the marketplace. So kind of in general, what do you see happening out there?
Yeah, it's pretty hot.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone can really argue with that. So inventory levels are fairly low, and demand is very high.
It seems like the new normal though now, doesn't it? I mean, I remember when 3 or 4 months was considered basically a seller's market at that point, right?
Yeah, so typically 3 months is a balanced market in this general area of the country. If you look at historically, 4% is where it's at, but anything below 3 is a seller's market, and above 3 is a buyer's market.
And we're well below, would you say?
We've been trending down over the last 5 years,
Yeah.
and we're at just about a month's supply right now.
Wow.
That's in Worcester. In Worcester County, the number will be just fairly higher.
Yeah.
But in general, it's like just a real shortage of properties to buy, and demand has also gone up. So
less properties to buy, lots more people looking at them.
correct.
Yeah, kind of the perfect recipe for, I don't want to say disaster because that's not the way to go with it, but it makes it tough.
It
Especially
is,
if you're a first-time buyer.
yeah, it is tough. Thankfully, the rates have come down a little bit, so
Yeah.
that's definitely helped a little. With some sellers putting their houses on the market.
Yeah.
But in general, yeah, it's very difficult.
And do you think this is going to be the new normal, or you think at some point people are going to be like, okay, it's time to go, whether it's moving to Florida, moving to another part of the state, or is this just going to be what we're stuck with until the town managers or the mayors or whoever it is that makes the rules in whatever town you live in start deciding to allow builders to build as much as they'd like to build, which I know as soon as that came out of my mouth, I know if that was the case, we'd all be choking on construction right now. But there has to be a middle
balance.
ground, you know?
Yeah, I think it's going to remain here for a little while until we actually see that correction that was projected a few years back. And because, real estate in general is cyclical. It usually
Yes.
goes up and down every 8 to 10 years. And I think we're a pressure cooker ready to go.
Yeah, we've been going
soon.
up for a while.
We have, yeah. So
Since-
I think it's been, 12 years almost?
Yeah, I was going to say, I remember it being slow. I mean, it's technically started going up after 8, 9.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
I
so
think,
10.
I think 12 and 13 is where it really started to heat up. And then everybody kept saying, I'm just going to, remember even talking to people last year, I'm just going to wait till prices come down. I mean, do you have knowledge that the rest of us don't?
Not really.
Or you just
no.
got 20 years to kill? It's hard to tell when it's going to happen, right?
It really is. I mean, statistically, it shows that it should be happening right now. And,
Right.
In different areas, there's little micro pockets that do show up. And some areas west of Worcester and north of Worcester, we've seen the economy, or not the economy, but housing in general kind of slow down a bit. So
Right.
inventory is in a buyer's market capacity versus a seller's market, and demand is definitely slowed down.
Right.
So there's little pockets here and there, but I think for the major metro areas like Worcester and Boston and things like that, it's going to take a little while longer.
Yeah. Probably measuring it in years, right? I mean, you're not thinking months, I'm assuming?
No, it's really hard to say though, because we have an election coming up too, which definitely throws
Yeah.
a wrench in the mix.
Could go either way, right?
Yeah, I would say that you really got to watch the numbers, see where it's going. Every buyer is different, so you just got to look at
Yeah.
the municipality that you're looking in, look at the numbers, look at the trajectory, and
Right.
just kind of make an educated decision from there.
Right. That makes sense. But it seems, I think those of us in the business, we all kind of wish things would be a little more balanced, right? Because the only people that are actually doing really good right now is if you're selling a house and renting, or you're downsizing, because then you're kind of making it up on both ends. But if you're a first-time buyer that hasn't seen equity appreciation, you're not doing great right now. And then if you're a move-up buyer, you're selling your house at a great profit, but you got to pay that much more to get into the next one.
Right.
So there really is just one segment that really benefits from this right now.
I would even challenge that a little. If you look at the multifamilies in Worcester, they're going for just crazy numbers right now. I mean, we saw a 2-family recently close for over $500,000, and that's just not the norm.
No, it's kind of unheard of in Worcester.
It really is. So even the 3 families, people are buying them because the affordability is definitely there, but as an investment, there's a lot fewer really good deals.
Right. Most of the multis that we did in Worcester used to be owner occupied. They used to be buying multis and using the rent to qualify for the mortgage. It's how people kind of got started.
Mm-hmm. We're starting to see that again now.
Yeah.
We've worked with a few buyers recently that are doing that.
But isn't it a little tougher for them to get those because they're competing with a lot of investors because rents have gone up so much?
Well, yes and no. The investors are sticking to their numbers. They're more logic based, whereas buyers are, they want to buy. They're renting right now, so they're realizing that they're throwing away money.
Yeah, a lot of money. It's not like rent's cheap anymore either.
No. I mean, that's we could do another segment another day for that. But,
that's true.
But yeah, I mean, the emotions of the buyers are that even if they get an investment property that's not a great deal, it's an okay deal, they're still better off.
Right.
So we're starting to see some of that, and then the drive of investors from Boston coming into Worcester too.
That's I'm really glad you brought that up, Justin. I actually was talking to somebody a couple months ago now, and they were debating, because they had a substantial amount to invest. They want to start buying properties, and they were torn. They live in Cambridge, so buying a multi in Cambridge for them is absolutely not even an option. At this point, you just can't get enough rent to make it worth it.
Nope.
So they're looking at buying 1 3-family in like Malden. Okay. And they're still looking at $700,000-$800,000. And so my suggestion was, you could buy 2 3-families in decent shape in Worcester, right?
Yeah.
And because you're going to have 6 rentals, you're going to make more money.
Mm-hmm. And the vacancy is going to be lower too,
right?
Because you got 6,
right? And when they actually did the math, they decided to scrap it because, I mean, it's tough to make money. Even if you're putting 25% down on an $800,000 or $900,000 property,
right?
It's not like you can charge $5,000 a month for rent,
right? Yep.
Or maybe you can. I shouldn't say you can't.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know about Malden, but
probably not $5,000 a month.
No.
Yeah,
doesn't sound right.
So Worcester, that makes Worcester that much more attractive to people looking to invest in real estate.
Yeah, and there's a lot of development going on in Worcester. So I mean, we've been in the news a lot. They're saying we're the new Hoboken. Mm-hmm. And, there's a $100 million development finished up recently downtown Worcester with the revitalization projects.
Right.
And it's Worcester's a happening spot. We got the beer garden that just opened. We're seeing a lot of trends from California in restaurants and things like that moving into Worcester.
Yeah.
Worcester is actually the 2nd largest city in New England.
And now it's becoming sort of its own city instead of just the shadow to Boston.
Yes, correct.
Yeah. And then they're supposed to be breaking ground, I think, this year on the new baseball stadium, right? Or is that next year?
No, I think they may have already done some breaking ground already on that. Yeah. Wow.
And that's going to be huge, right? There's they're projecting what, another couple $100 million in investments on top of the park?
Yeah, at least I would say, because they got to do the whole revitalization of Kelly Square. They got to redesign it and everything else.
Right.
So no more bumper stickers. I survived Kelly Square.
Oh man, that is a mess. I mean, for those of you who are in Boston and listening right now, and you haven't driven through Kelly Square, you're probably thinking, "Yeah, have you driven in Boston?" I would say this tops anything in the state.
Yeah, it's rough.
Yeah, no, it's on a national level. It's one of the worst intersections.
Where is it, like 8 roads all coming in at various angles and no lights?
Yeah, it might even be more than that. It's just a free-for-all.
Yeah, like three rotaries that converge somewhere in the middle of each. It's just insane.
Yeah, you pretty much, for driver's ed, there's no right way to go through there.
No, you basically just close your eyes and hope for the best.
Pretty much, really? Yeah, just hope that the other person doesn't hit you.
Yeah,
they care about their car.
Yeah. So getting back to the market, with things as busy, as crazy as they are right now, how are you prepping your buyers and your sellers to kind of deal with what they're going to be seeing?
Oh, great question. For buyers, we sit down, we do a very extensive buyer's consultation where we just listen to their wants and needs and really be able to decipher the differences between the two. Mm-hmm. Then we go over all of the market stats and figure out where affordability is for them, because they may have 5 different towns that they want to look at. So we'll consider mill rate. We'll look at where demand is, where supply is looking like in all of those towns, and kind of collectively order them in the right order on which ones might be the best for them. Mm-hmm. And then we tackle them, and then we do drive-bys and get a good feel for the towns and go from there. Yeah.
Excellent.
Sellers, it's pretty much the same thing, just reverse engineered. So we just look at the stats, look at when we're going to actually get on the market, which quarter that's going to be, because sometimes they need to make some repairs up front. We typically go through the house with 3 different sets of goggles on. We look at it through the eyes of the buyer. We'll say, listen, the buyers are going to care about this and this. They're not going to care about that. Second one is through the eyes of an inspector. And by no means am I an inspector or anything like that, but I've been on so many that I have a good feel for what would come up.
Yeah.
So we'll disclose some of that stuff. They may make some repairs. And then the last one's through the eyes of an appraiser, which depending on the different types of financing, certain things would be restricted and whatnot. And then we just coach and talk to them about all those things and then prepare for a launch at whatever month they're going to be launching in, and then look at the projections on what that's going to look like.
Right. And I'm glad that you shared that, because there are a lot of people out there that maybe haven't sold before but are looking to move up. And a lot of them are thinking, with the percentage that goes to the real estate agents on the transaction, what am I really getting? Because a lot of people that don't deal with us on a day-to-day basis, they figure you're flopping a sign in the backyard and that's it. I mean, there's a lot involved in actually selling a property. Some of which you haven't even touched on. I mean, obviously it's stuff you deal with on a daily basis, but there is a massive amount of work that goes into moving a property.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And a massive amount in addition to that to do it right.
Right.
So to do it right, one of the things that we do is a lot of home buyer education. So when someone's looking for someone to work with, what do you think they should be looking for? What differentiates you or a good agent from everyone else?
Yeah, I always encourage that they interview more than one agent so they can just kind of see what's going on. And that's even on the buyer side, not just the seller side. But I think one of the differentiating factors for us is we take integrity to a new level. So if I say I'm going to call you, I'll call you. If I say I'm going to text you, I'll text you. And, it's the smallest of details. I can give you a quick story of what that means to me.
Yeah, please do.
So we had a seller once in a market very similar to this. It was not that long ago. And we were fielding multiple offers on this property, and we were down on some help. So I was reviewing everything fairly quickly, and they used standard, offer to purchase on the buyer side. They submitted it over. I reviewed it really quick, talked to the seller about it, had him sign off. And then as I was looking at the paperwork a few days later, I was like, I saw a seller's concession for $5,000. And what the agent had done was in an offer to purchase, there's a paragraph, which is paragraph 9, that has additional terms that you'd write that in. They wrote it outside of that paragraph above it and typed it in the same font and size and color and everything. So it blended right in, and it wasn't like, it technically was still in that part.
Yeah.
But it wasn't the customary spot to put it. Right.
Yeah.
So, and I frankly didn't even know if I talked to the seller about it, because I was fielding so many different offers with some different clients. So I discussed a net analysis and was going over all those things. And, this client was pretty shocked. He's like, what is this $5,000? And I was like, oh, frankly, I didn't, it's in the offer and blah, blah, blah. And then they were a little concerned about that. They're like, this is a problem. Like, I didn't know about this. And I immediately, instead of saying, you know what, you signed the contract, it was your responsibility to read it too. I took full ownership. I said, you know what, I'm sorry, I'm the professional. I screwed up. I should have saw that. And I wrote him a check for $5,000.
Wow.
So yeah.
So you stand behind your
That
advice.
was not fun.
No, it's not.
But
what?
Also
it's, a little, I don't know what word to use because I don't want to insult anybody, but that's a little underhanded to try and hide something like that.
Yeah,
because we all do the same thing. When you see those contracts, you immediately go to the box to see what else you need to worry about.
Exactly.
And for somebody to purposely keep it out of there.
Yeah. It was definitely snuck in.
That's not the right way to do things.
No, but, at the same time, I saw it afterwards, so maybe I did look at it a little too fast.
Yeah.
So, but I took ownership of it, and I told him, I said, you know what, I'm sorry, and I made it right. And I think that's one of the things that differentiates our business is no matter the cost, we will always make it right with the client.
And that's exactly what we do. And I will guarantee you that you'll get a ton of business just because of what you did for those people. Because that'll be a story that nobody will believe. They'll tell everybody about you standing behind your work.
Oh, yeah. They've already been a repeat client.
Yeah.
Yep.
Excellent.
So, they know what to expect. They know I'm not going to be a shyster.
That's the thing. That's the thing. There's a right way and a wrong way to do it. There's a lot of people that work in real estate, and not all of them have the customer's best interest at heart.
It's tough. Yeah, it really is. I think, once this market does cool down and it's a little harder to do business, I think a lot of those licenses are going to disappear.
Yeah, I agree with you. We're running a little bit short on time, but I know before we started today, you were talking about working on short sales, which kind of caught me off guard because everybody's thinking with the way prices keep going up, I mean, how could anybody be underwater?
Yeah.
Are these houses that were bought years and years ago that were just over leveraged, or is this a new phenomenon?
It's a combination of both, actually. So we're doing 2 short sales right now, and we have conversations with many people that are going through hardships right now that they need to move. And so there's a lot of deferred maintenance on these properties. And I think that the short sale wave is definitely going to be coming back. And it's like one of them was just a couple years ago, and it was a divorce situation.
Yeah.
So a lot of those things you can't predict, right? With the market increasing at such an exponential rate, it's hard to keep up with that.
Maybe there was some work they intended to do when they first bought the house, and that one thing leads to another. It doesn't get done, caused more damage. So it's not necessarily just we bought it 2 years ago and overpaid. It's combination of a bunch of stuff. That's really
it is. Yeah,
I gotcha.
Yep. Yeah, but the frequency of those conversations have been increasing.
Yeah. Well, I would imagine. I mean, it seems like everybody's paying over asking price. So eventually, unfortunately, somebody's going to have bought at the top of the market plus 20 or 30 grand, and that's going to be tough.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right.
So I want to give out your contact info before I forget. It's Justin Jarboe. I got it right this time.
You did.
Jarboe Group Real Estate Team with Keller Williams in Worcester. They cover all of Worcester County, and for their sphere of influence, they'll actually cover outside of Worcester County if you'd really like to work with them. So if you're looking to buy or sell anywhere in Worcester County, give Justin and his team a call at 508-322-1499. Again, it's 508-322-1499. Justin, I want to thank you for joining us today.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks
Great
for having me.
You're very welcome. We're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll be back with more Get Real after this.